Laser sights are an essential firearms training tool, clearly correcting and improving the two most important shooting fundamentals, aiming and trigger control. Crimson Trace, making laser sights standard equipment. Learn more at crimsontrace.com.
The #1 national voice in defense of your Second Amendment rights. Gun Talk, available on iTunes and on the free Gun Dealio smartphone app for Android and iPhone. To be on the air with Tom, call us now, 866-825-5486 or 1-TOM-TALK-GUN. Now, here's Tom.
Before I get to what I was going to do, just on the internet, I just went to Ruger.com and I see this thing. I got to tell you about it because this thing's going to expire like in 2 days. Pre-election magazine weekend, free ground shipping on entire order with purchase of any magazine at shopruger.com. I went over there to actually look up a gun. Surprise, surprise, right? And I see this. I did not know about this promotion. So it's a pre-election magazine weekend, free ground shipping on entire order with purchase of any magazine. Shopruger.com. You got to use the promo code GOVOTE, GOVOTE, now through November the 8th. That is like you got 2 more days to make that happen. The election's about more than just the president, and I want to talk about state things, what's going on in the various states, particularly California, which is our litmus test. That's our canary in the cave, in the mine. So a couple of days ago, I recorded an interview with CalGuns Foundation guy and super knowledgeable fella, Gene Hoffman. Here's that interview. There's more on the ballot than just the president's election, of course, coming up. We have ballot measures around the country, and, of course, out in California, some of the, onerous, the toughest ones, the most, I'm tempted to call them evil, but the guy who knows all about those is Gene Hoffman from the CalGuns Foundation. Gene, tell us what's going on and what are people facing as they go to the ballot this time?
Well, here in California, as you said, we already have one of the most onerous gun control regimes in the United States. On top of that, the legislature was able to add quite a few additional restrictions that this proposition attempts to add. Now, the interesting dynamics in California, at least, is that recently law enforcement has been exempting themselves from these rules. Things like the banning of large capacity magazines or one gun in 30 days rules, ammunition registration, ammunition purchase permits. Now, the things that passed in the legislature this past year will be overridden by what happens with this proposition. So, interestingly, almost all of California law enforcement is against the proposition. Now, it's California, so the polling doesn't look great, but I also think that just in the same way that we saw Proposition 8 perform very differently because we had a kind of different electorate show up, I think this is a hard election to call how people are going to behave. And so in a lot of ways, I think it's really important for California gun owners, no matter what they're going to vote for in the rest of the election, to show up and vote no on the proposition.
Well, now, what is the proposition? Is there a number on it?
Prop 63.
Prop 63. Now, I may have missed it, but why is law enforcement opposed to Prop 63?
Well, I think it's two things. The positive is that I think law enforcement realizes that the regime we have, we're getting down into the weeds of things that are truly ineffective beyond the fact that we already have universal background checks and registration and one handgun in 30 and.
Right.
Adding ammunition registration may, at the very margin, have an impact, but it's unlikely. The bigger concern, though, and this is not necessarily the happy side of it, is they're not exempt for the first time in a very long time. So law enforcement officers in their personal capacities are going to have to follow the same rules that California gun owners otherwise have to follow.
So, that would account for the opposition. I get that. All of a sudden, they're going to be treated like the citizens that they actually are. And, I'm not saying that negative about law enforcement, but frankly, it galls me that there would be any difference since we're all citizens and we're all actually civilians. So I'm okay with that. So the polling doesn't look good. I am assuming that the advertising, the media coverage has been expectedly slanted.
It's interesting. This is one of those things where it's on the ballot, but it's not been heavily promoted by the positive side. They've not been willing to, for example, come to debates and those kinds of things. Obviously, we're again being outspent about 10-1, But, the reality is that I don't think there's a lot of room for, the actual outcome of the maneuver, except for the fact about who's going to show up at the polls.
Okay.
And, that factor will probably be the determining factor about where and, if this passes.
Well, of course, you hear it. There are certainly a lot of gun owners in California who say, well, there's just no point in me going because my vote doesn't matter because, we're going to get our Democrats, we're going to get our liberal people elected anyway, so why bother?
Well, it's a dangerous thing to think. Certainly you can feel that way about what's going to go on in some of the major elections that you can't sway. But certainly on these propositions, there have been multiple surprises over history around what the actual plebiscite thinks about gun rights. And, again, because of the strange dynamics and the unfavorables of both candidates and all of these things in California, this one proposition is worth every California gun owner voting, regardless of political stripe.
Do you have any idea how many gun owners there are in California?
Well, the interesting thing, Tom, is this is the largest retail market for guns in the United States. So it has to be a pretty significant proportion. And, this gets into one of my favorite problems with the data. Everybody says that the number of people who answer the phone when asked whether they have firearms has gone down.
Yes. In fact, I was just writing about that this morning for publication, saying that the gun issues always poll very poorly. The pollsters are simply not able to get a handle on gun questions.
That's right. And this is part of what's important about California gun owners showing up. I don't want to see this proposition pass with 80% of the vote. If it passes with 52% of the vote, that's actually an important message and a partial win for gun owners.
So what happens if it passes? What is, given everything that's happened in the last year, what changes are California gun owners in for with that and what was done by the legislature? For those of us who don't live there.
Yeah, I was going to say the biggest impact is really around purchasing ammunition and not being able to mail order ammunition. Not exactly clear all of that's constitutional. There's also some interesting interplays with some of the CalGuns Foundation cases, like Sylvester versus Harris, which says that if the State Department of Justice already knows you own a firearm, that they can't make you wait. And in fact, the ammunition system uses the exact same system and doesn't make you wait to buy ammunition. So there may be some, oddly enough, small positives in the implementation. But, there are very serious constitutional and other legal problems in various pieces of this. And, you can imagine that ourselves and others are going to be looking to bring those things into a little bit more constitutional line.
And when you say that, I'm assuming we're talking about more legal action.
That's correct. Obviously the legal action has to be a bit more prescribed unless we see people showing up and, voting to make sure that the Second Amendment is protected at the Supreme Court. Right. That said, some of the issues are more universal and kind of more universally respected by the federal judiciary.
You've actually been doing some good work. You've had some successes out there in the courts, haven't you?
We do. I think people overestimated the Ninth Circuit's hostility. And, I think what's happening to some extent is on some of the larger questions, the Ninth Circuit has behaved as some people were afraid it would, carry other things. At the same time, there are major pending decisions pending for years at this point, things about our handgun roster. But in a lot of what I would call the day-to-day bread and butter, making sure that there are a real community of gun owners that can actually exercise the right, we've made some real strides with Sylvester, with not allowing counties to redline gun stores. It's those kinds of things that keep the ability for you to purchase, maintain proficiency, actually doable.
Well, and it's, once again, I return to a common thread, which is each gun owner must be involved, and that involvement has to be, yes, on the national level, NRA-ish, those kinds of organizations, but it's really critical for every gun owner to be part of the state organization because many times that's where you can stop this kind of thing. And that's really, on a day-to-day basis, probably what impacts your life as a gun owner more. That's correct. And, here in California, we've basically become a one-party state. It's surprising to the politicians here the amount of furor and the number of people who will show up when the local city council is trying to get rid of the local gun store. Well, once again, if you can't get it done in the legislature, you can get it done by showing up. That's correct. For more information, how do people keep up with CalGuns Foundation? CalGunsFoundation.org on the web is the number one place to go. There it is. Gene Hoffman, thank you so much. Thank you, Tom.
Want your next gun purchase to be fast and hassle-free? Well, at galleryofguns.com, you can search through thousands of models from our huge firearms inventory. Find a great offer from a local dealer that includes all fees and taxes. And there's no need to arrange a transfer. Gallery of Guns takes a small deposit on your credit card, and your gun will be at your chosen dealer in as little as 48 hours. Plus, your gun will be covered by our guaranteed lifetime replacement warranty. GalleryofGuns.com. Search, find, buy. It really is just that easy.
Attacks happen every day. How will you react? See real people put into real-life criminal attack situations on First Person Defender. Discover what works and what doesn't. Kidnapping, ATM robbery, home invasion, and other attacks. Learn how to save your life and the lives of your family. Get the entire first season on DVD at shopguntalk.com. Get prepared. shopguntalk.com.
Shooting your gun is more fun than cleaning your gun, right? Then you want Federal's newest high-tech ammo, American Eagle Syntech. With polymer-coated bullets to eliminate copper and lead fouling, clean burning powders, and the Catalyst lead-free primer, Syntech range ammunition means you clean less, shoot more, and shoot better. No copper jacket also reduces splashback when shooting steel in 9mm, 40, and 45. Visit federalpremium.com and ask your local retailer for Syntech ammo.
Fans of Slip 2000 EWL gun lubricant will want to try EWL 30 this summer. The thicker EWL 30 sits up, migrates less, stays wetter longer, and will not dry out. Perfect for long-term storage. It also holds up better in hotter conditions while still providing the excellent high round count performance you have come to expect from the original EWL. Slip 2000. We're all about gun care. Learn more at slip2000.com.
The Ruger American Rimfire Rifle combines features of the Ruger American Rifle and innovations of the 1022 Rimfire Rifle to appeal to all bolt-action enthusiasts. It features a modular stock system that provides comb height options for scope or iron sight use, a power bedding integral bedding block system for outstanding accuracy, a Ruger Marksman adjustable trigger, and a 1022-style rotary magazine for reliable feeding. The Ruger American Rimfire Rifle, another rugged, reliable firearm from Ruger.
All right, back with you, 866 Talk Gun. Let's go straight to the phones. By the way, Al, if you're listening in Alaska, answer that phone when we call you. We're trying to get you back. Line 3, Sharon is with us in Ashland, Oregon. Hey, Sharon, you're on Gun Talk. Oh, line 3 is, okay, line 3 is Richard in Gold Hill, Oregon. Hey, Richard.
How are you doing? I have a gun range report for you on the Ruger's SR 1911 Commander in 9mm.
All right, talk to me.
I'm a big 1911 guy. I probably have at least 12, maybe 14. And I'm aged, sort of. I'm 72, and I'm getting to where I really like 9mm. And, you know, I have, full-size 9mm 1911s and little tiny ones and stuff, and I've always wanted a commander size. And when Ruger came out with this, I bought it, and I kind of consider it a utilitarian elegant. I think Ruger has hit a home run with it. They have everything you need on it, and practically nothing you don't need. I'll give you an example. The Novak sights are just iron sights with a wide dot.
Right.
A guy like me, almost every time I get a gun, I start changing the sights on them, so why put an expensive sight on it? This particular one, I put a green fiber optic. The thing that strikes me about it, however, is that it's fairly lightweight. It weighs 29 ounces roughly, and it's with 124 grain bullets in it. It weighs 33.9 ounces with that 10 rounds in it. Extremely accurate. I've got now 334 rounds through it. I've had it about 6 weeks. I've put ARX through it, nodular defense, gold dots, Hornady, critical defense, golden sabers, Winchester silver tip, Hydra-Shot, Hornady critical duties, and, of course, Blazer brass and Blazer aluminum in my reloads. I've yet to have a malfunction with the gun. For old guys, I especially like the light recoil spring. I just got back from a hunting trip where a friend of mine's 80 years old, and he racked that slide, and he says, "Oh, man, this is nice." So anyhow, I just thought you'd enjoy that report.
Well, let me ask you, is this going to be a carry gun for you?
I carry it all the time.
Okay. I want people to understand we're talking about a 9mm 1911 Commander style, so it's a shorter barrel, but you still have 9 rounds in the magazine plus 1 in the chamber, so it's a 10-round gun, single stack, that is a 1911. For those of us who love the 1911, and especially, for those who don't know, one of the reasons we like the 1911 is because it has a great trigger. How's the trigger on your Ruger?
The trigger on this Ruger stock is just fantastic. I don't know if I just happened to get a really good one or what. It's just a hair under 4 pounds. And I usually set my 1911s right at 4 pounds. And they advertise it, I think, around 5 pounds. But
well, don't complain.
No, I'm not complaining, because I usually get in there and bend the springs around a little bit until I get down to 4. And
now you're a 1911 guy. You said about a dozen or so.
Yeah, my first one I bought in mid-70s, a Colt government model Series 70, and I actually carried that for about 3 or 4 years. Then I got the Colt lightweight officers, and I carried that until about 6 years ago. And then I got this harebrained idea I needed a plastic gun. And I've got all kinds of plastic guns, but I've come back home, I guess.
So how does this one, this is, MSRP on this one is just a hair under $1,000. How does it compare with your other guns?
$800 I paid for it.
$800. That's a lot of value.
$9.
All right, so how does it compare with your other 1911s? Because you probably have some that are cheaper and some that are more expensive.
Well, for what I want, it's just so good. I'll give you an example. I have an STI 9mm full size, weighs 44 ounces that I compete with. I shoot steel with it, and it's just a wonderfully shooting gun. However, I don't like packing 45 ounces around.
Right.
And that's empty, by the way. And I have an STI VIP, which is it's a 3.8 inch barrel with double stack. It's a 2011 style. I love it, but I can't put Crimson Trace on it. I have my original Colt, which I still have. I have Kimber, a little 3-inch Kimber, which I like a lot.
You got some real nice 1911s then.
Those are, it's not money with me. Does it do what I want? And this Ruger, for me, it does what I want. I like the sight, a little bit longer sight plane. Concealing a 4-inch barrel for 1911 is not an issue. You just put it inside the waistband holster, and the barrel just goes along, down alongside your buttock.
Right. This is a 4 1/4 inch barrel, 10-shot, 1911. And I take it from everything you're saying, it's accurate also, because you're a competitive shooter. You would know.
It's so accurate. At 7 yards on steel, freehand, it's just, well, unless I'm going really fast, it's just one bullet on top of another. I have
Wow.
I'm one of those guys that has a range in my backyard. I love it.
You gotta love it.
100 yards, and I just have 6 steel plates sitting there, and anytime I want to, I go down there and shoot them. And I went to 9mm because I've gotten older, but a lot of my competition, like steel, for example, and I used to do USPSA, and I still do IDPA. I find that I'm just a little bit faster with a 9mm. For example, typically at 7 yards on 5 targets steel, I'll draw and fire with a 45 in about 5.5 seconds.
Right.
With the 9mm is about 4.6, 4.7. And in this modern day, with the ammunition we have, it's very reliable and very, very effective. I don't really see the advantage to a 45. And also, by the way, some of the older guys are starting to get arthritis and stuff like that.
Yes, exactly. Well, that is a terrific range report, Richard. I am so impressed. And I do love 9mm 1911s. And I've actually been thinking about that. Now, here's the weird part. As we're talking, I am wearing a 9mm single stack. It happens to be a Springfield Armory XDS. But the whole idea of a single stack 9mm pistol, and I say 1911, but I'm about to say single stack pistol. I just like the whole idea of it. They're thin, and you mentioned something. You can put a Crimson Trace laser grips on this, and I have become such a fan, and I am a reluctant fan. But I am such a fan of the laser. It's one of the reasons I went with this pistol I've been carrying it for the last 2 days, because I put a Crimson Trace laser on it.
Modifications I made on it. The laser grips one, the fiber optic front sights the second. The third one is I did in fact put friction tape on the front of the grip. Okay. I have one comment that that you made, I don't know, a few months ago, that brought me back to my 1911s. I went to plastic guns because of capacity.
Right.
You made a comment to somebody one time that sometimes it's better to have a second, well, it's always better to have a second magazine, but one of the most common things to malfunction on your gun is the feeding of the magazine. Therefore, if you have a second magazine, you can put it in there. Well, for 40 years, I carried a gun with just the magazine was in the gun.
Right.
And I thought, well, that's like a no-brainer. Have a spare. and
so it's easier when it's a slim one, a single stack mag is easy.
And I carry one spare, well, today I was carrying 2 spares, so.
Yeah, that's the thing. For the 1911, I would carry 2 spare mags just because you can, and they're thin and they're comfortable. Again, Richard, thank you so much. There was a great range report. It was a terrific pistol. Love 1911s anyway, but the 9mm shoots so sweet. If you've not shot one, you owe it to yourself. Whether it's a Ruger or another brand, you need to try one. But I love the idea of the Commando. You know what this means, don't you? It means I got to get another. Oh, that's a good thing, isn't it? I have to get another gun. Are you buying any guns? Have you bought any guns in anticipation of the election and what comes after? And if it goes the wrong way on Tuesday, what are you going to be buying on Wednesday?
Gun Talk encourages you to support the local sporting goods store, gun stores, ATV dealers, and other local businesses in your area who advertise on this station and Gun Talk. Only together can we protect our rights. You're listening to Washington Times opinion page regular contributor Tom Gresham.
All right, back with you. In just a minute, I want to talk to all the women out there. A story that has been breaking in the news the last couple of days I want you to think about. If it doesn't scare the hell out of you, it should. If it doesn't motivate you to do something, I don't know why. We'll get to that in just a second. Al has called in, line 5, out of Palmer, Alaska. Glad we were able to get you back in here. Hey, Al, tell me about this rifle and what's the problem going on here?
Okay, I got a 243 Model 77 Ruger barrel. I've had it cropped twice. I've got about 19.25 inches on the length. Can I get it cropped again before the 18 inches, that space in there, to become the tack driver it used to be? Or do I buy another barrel that's got more of a twist that I can have for a short barrel, about 18 and a half inches long? I want to put take it off the old wooden stock and put a folding stock on it so I can have it with my pack.
Okay, so you got this 243 Ruger, and it used to shoot well. Then you had the barrel shortened. Somebody cut some of the barrel down, and now it doesn't shoot accurately. Is that what's going on?
It was cropped twice.
Okay. My first question, and anybody can cut off a barrel, but not everybody knows how to cut a barrel, to shorten a barrel and do it well and make sure that it's absolutely true. You need to do it on a lathe, and you also need to recrown the barrel, and my bet is that that's the problem. I bet you they screwed up the crown.
Supposedly they've both been recrowned. Right now, the 1.25 inches that I got left, I want to know if it's feasible to have it cropped again, or is there a company, or does Ruger have a barrel that's 18.5 inches long with a real tight twist so I can get another tack driver of about 100, 150 yards?
Okay, the twist rate has nothing to do with what's going on here. So forget that. It's not about twist rate. It's not about barrel length. Also, the length, the minimum length that you can have is 16 inches, not 18. It's 18 inches is for shotguns. 16 inches is the minimum legal length for a rifle barrel. So you've got some room to play. They did something to your rifle. Shortening the barrel will never make it lose accuracy if they do it right. And I would almost bet you money that they screwed up the crown on it. Now, I know they said they recrowned it. Well, anybody can recrown it. It's just, can you do it well? Do you know what the heck you're doing? And my guess is that somebody screwed this thing up on you, because if it was shooting well before and it's not shooting well now, there's an issue. And they, frankly, if the same people did it twice, I don't think I'd go back to them a third time. I think I'd find somebody else who makes accurate rifles, because that's the thing. You need somebody who is an accuracy rifle nut working on your rifle if you want it to be accurate. Anybody can cut it off and recrown it.
One more time, you got any suggestions of who I should take it to?
Okay, and you are in you're in Alaska. I don't live in Alaska, but if you will ask around and ask, okay, who are the accuracy shooters? There are competitive accuracy shooters. Who are they using to build their rifles? That's the gunsmith you want. You want the guy who's building accurate rifles, all right? It really is pretty much as simple as that. All right, I mentioned that I wanted to talk to the ladies out there, the women. There is a story in the news, and you've seen it, out of Spartanburg, South Carolina. This guy, they found this woman in a metal box, probably a container, chained up, probably sexually assaulted. This guy kidnapped her boyfriend, killed her boyfriend in front of her. He's probably killed 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 other people. Here's my thought for you. And yes, I want to frighten you. Yes, I want you to actually think about this experience. Why would I want to do something so mean and cruel? Because I want you to take this seriously. If you have adult daughters, I want you to talk with them. This is serious. Evil walks the face of the earth. Evil preys more upon women than upon men. Women understand this, but for some reason, a lot of them do not take steps to counter it. Oh, it's hard to carry a gun. Oh, it doesn't fit my wardrobe. I don't care. It'll keep you alive. Change the way you dress. Get gun fighting training. Not shooting training. Pay attention. Not how to shoot. How to fight with a gun. Go to a gun fighting class. Learn how to move and shoot. Learn how to shoot from underneath something. Learn how to shoot from going around something. Learn how to carry a gun. Make the commitment. Carry it all the time. Carry it everywhere you go. Don't ever go anywhere without it. People like this are out there. This guy was convicted of raping someone when he was 14 and then threatening to kill her siblings if she told. People like that are walking past you every day. And yes, there are people who prey on men too, but there are a lot of people who prey on women, and for whatever reason, some women, it seems more so than men, have decided, it's going to be okay. I always keep my cell phone with me. Fabulous. Fabulous. It's not going to do you any good. Hope is not a plan. Hope will get you killed. Oh, I hope he doesn't come over here. I hope he doesn't come to my car. I hope he's not a bad guy. I hope he doesn't rape me. I hope when he's done raping me, he doesn't kill me. Hope will get you killed. Do something about it. Today, make the commitment. Save yourself. Save your daughter's life. Save your granddaughter's life. Get involved. Yeah, it's that serious. If I scared you, good. I'll be right back.
Sid is on the way. Silencer Shop has shipped a Sid kiosk to a gun store near you. What is Sid? It's secure identity documentation, where you and all of your trustees can register, get fingerprinted, and complete the documents necessary to own a silencer in your gun trust. Easy, ATF compliant, and you only need to visit Sid once. Get to know Sid, your new 41F champion. Learn more at silencershop.com. Making the world a quieter place.
Nosler has been a leader in bullets and ammunition for decades and keeps growing with new product introductions that follow this tradition. Accurate, highly effective bullets and ammo for long-range shooting, precision rifle competition, and big game hunting. To be the first to hear about new product releases and promotions, follow Nosler on Facebook and Instagram and become part of the conversation. You won't settle, and neither will we. Nosler.com.
After a long workday, you need a break when you get home. That's when it's trigger time. With quality adult air guns that are powerful, accurate, and quiet, and cost just pennies to shoot. We are Pyramid Air. We know air guns. Let our experts with more than 150 years of combined air gun experience help find the right air gun for you. Get your trigger time, anytime, for less. PyramidAir.com.
You got your carry permit, and that's good. But you know you could use more training. Get the DVDs, which have what you need. Springfield Armory presents Concealed Carry 1 and Concealed Carry 2 with Bata Group. Learn specific concealed carry skills from Top Gun fighting trainers. Get trained. Be prepared. This really is life and death. ShopGunTalk.com. That's ShopGunTalk.com.
A decade since it was first introduced, the Taurus Judge still rules. This isn't just any personal defense revolver. This is an everyday gun. With its decisive stopping power, it's the original 5-shot game changer. Today it's available in more than a dozen models and capable of chambering both 45 Colt and 410 shot shell. You be the judge. Taurus Judge, what legends are made of. Visit TaurusUSA.com.
What's important in a gun safe? Security, reliability, safety, good looks? It all comes down to quality. Quality that's built in from the beginning. Liberty Safe has made quality products for 29 years right here in the USA. Trust your guns, your valuables, and your safety to Liberty Safe. Did you ever regret buying quality? I didn't think so. Get the best. Whatever your budget, get a Liberty Safe. LibertySafe.com.
All right, back with you. Yeah, we are mere hours away from Election Day. It could be a long night. That's okay. If you get to the polls and it's a long line, just say, hey, this is cool. A lot of people are involved. I am going to wait. They are not going to dissuade me. I don't care how long it takes. I am going to do this thing. I am an American, and I will vote. Line 4, Chris, North Little Rock, Arkansas. Hey, Chris, range report. Talk to me.
Hey, Tom. Appreciate the show. Hey, real quick question. Got a Safe Queen I've had for a few years, a Winchester 1894, a 32 WS, which I hate to admit I can't remember what WS stands for. But what's unique about it is an octagon barrel from the receiver to just past the forearm, and then it's round. Have you ever heard or seen that before?
Yes. It's a very cool look, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I think they call it like a half round or half octagon barrel. But yeah, they did octagon out, and then it was round past the forearm, and it's just pretty sweet. Now, is that something that you got through the family?
No, actually, purchased it at one of my gun shops.
Okay. Sweet. Okay. So what I see a note here about you got a 50 caliber 1911. I want to hear about that.
Well, it's actually an old boy that used to work for Wilson for years and struck out on his own, Huntsville, Arkansas, and it's called Guncrafter Industries. And I was curious if you had the opportunity to try one.
No,
he had two models, one
not.
on the Glock and one on the 1911 frame.
Well, tell me, since you have one of those?
Yes, and I was just curious if you had the opportunity to try one.
I have not, so I'm asking you. Well, tell me about it.
Well, the one I have is a Model 3, kind of officer style, bobtail on the grip, and, the recoil is no different, or not much different than a 45 ACP. But it is actually 50 caliber with a rebated rim.
Okay, so if the recoil is no different, then the energy is no different. So one has to ask, why do it?
I guess the oddity, the uniqueness.
Because 50 is more than 45. What don't you get, Tom?
Oh,
come on.
Yeah, well, because it wasn't a 51.
That's right. It wasn't a 51. That's right. 51 would be illegal, so we went 50. That's as big as we're allowed to go. So I like that. Well, that's very cool, Chris. And I love the rifle that you got. Yeah, the half round, half octagon barrel is a neat look. I appreciate that. All right, thank you, sir. I'm trying not to get too hung up on this. I'm seeing the story about this crazy man who has killed all these people and abducted women and no telling what else. And I realize there's no ultimate 100% protection for anybody. But boy, do I get frustrated. Boy, do I get frustrated when people won't do something to protect themselves and their children. I've actually had people say, well, are you saying that I am an irresponsible parent if I don't have a gun? And I said, well, let me put it this way. Absolutely. It makes people crazy. And I said, well, let me ask you this. What is your plan for protecting your children? Well, what do you mean? I mean, real simple. Someone comes over to you in a park and says, or doesn't even say anything, just picks up your child and takes off running. Someone comes over to you and attacks you with an idea of taking your children. Someone just walks into your front door at your house and is going to hurt you and hurt your children. What is your plan? If you don't have a gun, and if you don't know how to use it, yes, I call that being irresponsible, because I think you are abdicating your responsibility to keep those children safe. I realize there are people who will recoil, if you pardon the phrase, at the very idea that I would say it's irresponsible to not have a gun and know how to use it. These would be the same people who think that having a cell phone is some form of security. It is not. These would be the same people who say, oh, you can just depend upon the police because it's not your job to protect yourself. They actually say things like that. It's not your job. You need to leave that to the professionals. That's like saying, well, you can't have a fire extinguisher because we have a fire department down the street. It's idiotic. But it is the belief of the Hillary Clinton followers. The idea that you can't be trusted. And that's, at its core, that's what it is. You can't be trusted. We know better. We're smarter. We're more elite. We have to have a public position, as she said, and then we have to have a private position, which is what she also said. We will tell the public what we feel like they need to hear, and we're going to do whatever we need to do. Hidden from view. That's what you get with her. More about that in just a second. Hey, let's talk about, the election. Or actually, let's talk about what happens after the election. Because here's the thing. I've been covering gun rights for 40-plus years, probably closer to 50 years, in print, on radio, in television, online, every way I can. I kind of take the long view. I've seen a lot of things come and go. I've seen a lot of attacks. I've seen a lot of assaults. We've won some. We've lost a lot. We've regained some things. We're in a not bad place, which is not the same as saying we're in a good place with gun rights. We're in a not bad place. We're better than we used to be, primarily because of the Heller and McDonald decisions coming out of the Supreme Court. And we've won a number of good court cases, but we are starting to lose court cases because lower courts are basically contradicting the Heller and McDonald decisions. They're saying you actually don't have a right to own a gun. And, of course, we can't appeal it to the Supreme Court now because it's a 4-4 split. That's really what this election is about. I mean, it's about a lot of other things, but for us, for gun people, that's what it's about. The loss of the Supreme Court means the loss of all of these cases. It means we lose the ability to hold people accountable if a police department says, no, we're not going to issue any concealed carry permits. And the court says, well, see, you don't actually have a right to carry a gun for protection. And we say, well, we know we do. Well, so what are you going to do? Appeal to the Supreme Court? What do you think they're going to do? There we are. That's where we are. So I guess I'm looking at the election Tuesday, and obviously I'm encouraging everybody to vote. If you don't like Donald Trump, I don't care. Do what you have to do. As we like to say, put on your big boy pants or your big girl pants, pull them up, go do the adult grown-up thing, because you can't let her get in, because she simply says she's going to destroy, without erasing it. You're not going to take it off the book. She's simply going to destroy the utility of the Second Amendment. But here's the thing. On November 9, the day after the election, we start again, because there will be the same assaults, no matter who gets elected. There will be the same people working to erode our Second Amendment rights. There will be the same Michael Bloomberg out there spending millions to destroy our gun rights. And we will need more of us in the fight. So on Wednesday, we do what we have been doing. We will join the NRA. We will join the Second Amendment Foundation. We will get other people to belong. We need to grow all of these organizations. We need to triple or quadruple the membership. It's the old line. What's the line? If the NRA had 20 million members, what could they do? The answer is anything they wanted. Really is, go get 3 people. If each NRA member got 3 more people to join, boom, there you go. 20 million people. Done deal. So we will pick this up on Wednesday, and we will continue to do what we've done, because we're the good guys. We're the good gals. We're the ones who own guns responsibly, use guns responsibly. We're the people who are safe with guns. We're the ones you don't actually hear about in the news. And we know that we're right, that we're safe, that we're honest, that we're responsible, that we are reliable. That's why we're going to go vote on Tuesday. And that's why on Wednesday we're going to say, okay, back to it. Back to the battle, because this is a forever battle. It doesn't end either way on Tuesday. It will continue. And that's simply what it means to be an American. We will continue to vote for our rights, take care of our rights, and do whatever it takes. I'll see you at the polls, and I'll see you on the backside. Be safe out there. Watch yourself.